Today I am going to take the seminar on the topic liquid crystals. In 1888, Austrian botanical physiologist Friedrich Reinster examined that cholesterol benzoate had two distinct melting points. 145.5 degrees Celsius, it melts into a cloudy liquid, while at 178.5 degrees Celsius, it melts again and the cloudy liquid becomes a clear liquid. And this leads to the topic liquid crystals. Liquid crystals may flow like a liquid, but its molecules is arranged in a crystal-like way. And there are many different types of liquid crystal phases, and they are distinguished by different optical properties. And when viewed under a microscope, using a polarized light source, we can see the different liquid crystal phases have distinct textures. Isotropic and anisotropic. We know that what do you mean by isotropic and anisotropic. Isotropic means it has uniform properties in all directions, while anisotropic means they have different properties in different directions. Liquid and gases are example for isotropic, and liquid crystals, they come under the category of anisotropic. Liquid crystals are highly anisotropic fluids that exist between solid and the liquid phase. This dual physical property is referred to as mesomorphism. Liquid crystalline phases. There are mainly four types of liquid crystalline phases: mesophase, liquid crystal, thermotropic, lyotropic. Mesophase, it is a phase which lies between the solid crystal and isotropic liquid state. Liquid crystals, they are fluid but shows brine fringes which have the property associated with both crystals and the liquid. Thermotropic means it is a phase which has a function of temperature. That means it is a phase which is formed when a pure compound is heated, while lyotropic liquid crystalline phase which forms when the molecules are mixed with a solvent or solution. That means it is a phase which acts as a function of concentration in a solvent. These are the liquid crystalline phases. Next is the classification. The liquid crystals can be divided into thermotropic, lyotropic, metallotropic phases, and there are also mineral liquid crystals are there, biological liquid crystals are there. In metallotropic liquid crystals, they are composed of both the organic and inorganic molecules, but the liquid crystal transition not only depends upon the temperature and concentration, it also depends upon the inorganic organic composition ratio. And in the below figure we can see that the liquid crystal is the state comes between a solid state and a liquid state. In this figure we can see that when we apply temperature or concentration to a crystal, it forms a liquid crystal which acts as a mesophase, and by applying more and more temperature and concentration, it leads to the formation of a clear liquid. In the first figure, crystal, it is anisotropic in nature, 3D lattice, positional and orientational order are present. In the second figure, it is anisotropic in nature, one-dimensional or two-dimensional, no positional order but it has orientational order. In the third figure, there is no lattice, anisotropic in nature, no positional order but orientational order are there. And in the fourth figure, that is a liquid, the liquids are come under the category of isotropic, that means uniform properties on all directions, therefore no lattice, no positional and orientational order. Liquid crystals, the main characteristics of liquid crystal is that it has a positional order, orientational order and bond orientational order. These 3 points are the main characteristics of a liquid crystal. Next one, thermotropic liquid crystals. Thermotropic liquid crystals. The essential requirement for a molecule to be a thermotropic liquid crystal is that its structure should consist of a central rigid core which is aromatic in nature, and it should have a peripheral moiety which is flexible, and generally it is aliphatic in nature. And these structural requirements, it leads to a two general classification of liquid crystals. Nematic phase are there, schematic phase are there, chiral phase is there. First one is nematic phase. In nematic phase, the word nematic is a Greek word which means thread-like structures. That means when this phase is viewed under a polarizing microscope, we can see thread-like structures. That's why the name nematic came. And it is only a liquid crystal phase with no long range translational order, and it is the one of the most common liquid crystal phase. And in nematic phase, it is less anisotropic than schematic phase, and the molecules in nematic phase structures maintain a parallel or nearly parallel arrangement to each other along the molecular axes, and they move in three directions and can rotate about one axis. Hence the structure is one dimensional in nature. And here we can see the figure in the left. It is a schematic representation of nematic phase, and in the above we can see that a photo of nematic liquid crystal. And here are some photographs of the liquid crystal phases which is obtained by a polarized optical microscope, and these are all nematic phases. Next is schematic phase. Schematic phase is one-dimensional translational phase. The word schematic, it's also come from the Greek word which means soap. It has a liquid-like motion of the rods in each layer. In this figure, there's a picture of two phases, schematic A phase and schematic C phase. In schematic A phase, the molecules are perpendicular to schematic layers, while in C phase, the molecules in the layers are parallel and tilted in arrangement with respect to the normal of the layers by an angle of theta. And these layers can easily slide each other, and there is no correlation between the molecular position of one layer to the next layer, and it is the property of schematic phase. Next is chiral phase. In chiral phase, it is also known as chiral nematic. Chiral nematic is there. That is, it has an optically active compound which displays a strong color under the influence of a polarizable light. And they are non-Newtonian flow as compared to nematic liquid crystals. Nematic liquid crystals are have Newtonian flow, while chiral nematic have no Newtonian flow. Non-Newtonian means they have variable velocities is there. And in cholesteric phase, it is a modification of nematic liquid crystal because many compounds of this are derivatives of cholesterol. And it is used in chiral photonics, and in also we have using in LCDs also we have using chiral nematic phase. And these molecules, this phase shows helical structure, and these molecules have non-symmetrical carbon atoms and thus lose mirror symmetry. And in general, the helical pitch of cholesteric liquid crystals is of order of visible light's wavelength, about a few hundred nanometers, and show different colors. And this figure we can see that there are different phases are there, and this P is referred to a chiral pitch, that is a distance which takes for the director to rotate one full turn of a helix. It is a helical structure is there. It is a nematic because chiral nematic. These are some figures are there. Nematic phase is the first one. Second one is a schematic phase. We can see the difference between these phases. Cholesteric phase or chiral nematic phase is there, and the last one is columnar phase. That is an extra phase. Other phases, that's blue phase, discotic nematic phase, columnar phase. In blue phase, it exists between a chiral nematic phase and isotropic liquid phase, and it has high chirality. While discotic nematic phase means disc-shaped LCs, and columnar phases means bowl-shaped liquid crystal molecules. They are known as columnar phases. We have seen many phases. Thermotropic liquid phases are there, nematic phases, schematic phases, chiral phase, blue phase, discotic nematic phase, columnar phase. These are the some phases of liquid crystalline phase. Next is the lyotropic liquid crystals. Lyotropic liquid crystals are two component systems which are amphiphile is dissolved in a solvent. Amphiphile means a compound which has two immiscible hydrophobic and hydrophilic parts within the same molecule. Hydrophilic means they are water loving, while hydrophobic means they are water hating. It is in that molecule, the same molecule, it consists of both hydrophilic and hydrophobic immiscible parts. That compound is, or the molecule is known as amphiphile molecule. And this amphiphile molecule is dissolved in a solvent. The two component system occurs, and this is known as lyotropic liquid crystals. Lyotropic mesophases are concentration and solvent dependent, and soap is an example for lyotropic liquid crystals. We know that cleansing action of soap, it forms Michel-Leys. That's a figure which is shown in the figure. That's the red heads of surfactant molecules are in contact with the water, whereas the tails which are immersed in blue, that is a bilayer is left and the Michel-Leys is right. They are the lyotropic liquid crystals. Metallotropic liquid crystals. Already we have said that metallotropic liquid crystals are long chain soap-like molecules. It has series of new phases, and its behavior depends not only upon the temperature and concentration, but also it depends upon the inorganic organic composition ratio. Then there are biological liquid crystals. Biological liquid crystals example is phospholipids. In particular, biological membranes, cell membranes are a form of liquid crystals. That means they are constituent molecules. Phospholipids are perpendicular to the membrane surface, yet the membrane is flexible, and these lipids varies in nature. They are biological liquid crystals. There are mineral liquid crystals, and mineral liquid crystals are found in the mineral world. Most of being are lyotropic in nature, and the first discovered was vanadium pentoxide by Saussure in 1925, zeolite. And there is next one is the application of liquid crystals. Application of liquid crystal, first one is LCD. LCD means liquid crystal display. It's a display technique in which liquid crystals are used to produce an image on the screen. That is, there is more to a building an LCD than simply creating a sheet of liquid crystals. And the four facts in a surprising way the LCD satisfies. They are: light can be polarized. Liquid crystals can transmit and change polarized light. The structures of liquid crystals can be changed by electric current. There are transparent substances that can conduct electricity. These are the main four facts which LCD satisfies. And the working is of an LCD is, when a light from a light source is emitted, it is allowed to fall on the vertical polarizer, and then the unpolarized light by the source will get vertically polarized. When initially no external potential is provided between two electrodes, the molecules of the liquid crystal remain twisted, and hence the vertically polarized light can switch on the screen. Then the current is applied, the molecular arrangement changes, and the cell appears to be dark or opaque in nature. Thus, the number or the letter is displayed in a black against the silvery background. And the dematic phase is mainly used in LCDs. Only a small amount of current is applied or applicable in LCDs, and LCD is a display technique which has a wide range of use in electronic watches, calculators, etc. And these are also some applications of liquid crystals. It can be used in liquid crystal displays, battery testing tips, helmets. Liquid crystal thermometers are there. In liquid crystal thermometers, we are using thermotropic liquid crystals. There are light shutters, computer monitors, etc. Then these are also liquid crystals are found in brain, DNA, beetles and insects, in milk as phospholipids, in plant cell walls, wood cellulose, gluten proteins, etc., slag, lime, silk, collagen, muscle, bones. All the liquid crystals are applicable in all. So these are the main important points about the liquid crystals. Thank you.